Colleagues, family and friends gathered at Broadcasting House here in Nairobi for a requiem mass of the late broadcaster Festus Amimo, many paying glowing tributes. And all we can say here is go well, brother. Plus on Prime Edition, in business, Cabinet Secretary Mbadi says that Kenyans will feel the impact of the broad-based growth once the economy expands. And also, of course, later in sports, we bring you the very latest in the African Games. Good evening. I am Mboya, and top in this live broadcast.
Mimi nawaambia wale majamaa, please, my friends, hakuna inchi itaongozwa na watu ambao hawana agenda na mpango na sera.
No agenda for the country. President Ruto launches several development projects in Turkana, slams the opposition for engaging in empty political rhetoric. Leaving no stone unturned, homicide detectives and forensic experts piece together a detailed trail of former Minister Cyrus Jirongo's last movements as the opposition calls for clarity on his death.
When the festive season is gone, we want to ensure that our people are safe and secure. So that is actually, again, a major preoccupation of the National Police.
Crime-free festivities. More police officers to be deployed to ensure security of Kenyans during and after the festive season. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Our socials at KBC Channel 1. Speak to us. Let us know what your thoughts are on some of the stories that we are covering for you. Lucy Mora is in charge of our son language docket. My colleague Mchumodi is still away, but she'll join you next week. Now, President William Ruto has slammed opposition figures, saying that they have no agenda, not even a plan for the country, even as they seek power in the 2027 general poll. The president, who was in Turkana County, launched several development projects, as well as he attending the 9th edition of the Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival. Give Us On Mine opens our coverage tonight with that report.
After 8 months, President William Ruto on Tuesday returned to Turkana County for a walking tour. The head of state began by launching upgrade works for the Lodwar town streets and laying the foundation stone for 660 million shillings Turkana University Students Hostel before gracing the Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival in Tobongu Lore in Lodwar.
Number one, drum beat number one, hey!
President Ruto pledging that his administration would by December 2026 make the oil resources in Turkana a reality.
Na tumesema ile serikali ambayo itatoa mafuta hapa Turkana ni hii serikali mulinipatia hii. Na nimewaambia wale watu wanahusika na hiyo maneno ya kwamba tunataka kufika December 2026, December next year, malori yanze kutoka hapa kubeba mafuta, kwa sababu tunataka kuweka rasilimali ya Turkana County.
He also sustained his first world economy narrative, saying the National Infrastructure Fund and the Sovereign Wealth Fund will help to close the gap between the rich and the poor.
Kabla hamujajaribu kushindana na mimi, tafuteni sera, tafuteni mpango, tafuteni maono, tafuteni plan, ndio mkuje tushindane. Kwa sasa, wale majamaa watakuja Lodwar. Hakuna kitu watawaeleza, watawaambia tu mambo matatu. Watawaambia Kasongo, one term.
2027 politics also played out as he took a swipe at opposition leaders, faulting them for what he termed as engaging in political rhetoric other than sharing a substantive agenda for the country.
Hiyo barabara ni mimi na Uhuru Kenyatta tulitengeneza wakati tulichukua serikali, and we have the facts and we have the evidence. Wewe tafuta Wakenya wa kudanganya, akili ya kupanga mambo ya barabara, I am afraid.
The head of state seemingly slammed Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka over Kibwezi Road, saying it was Jubilee administration that constructed it. This comes after Kalonzo claimed he was responsible for the road during the Kibaki administration. Give us Mana, Prime Edition.
Now on to that probe. The Director of Criminal Investigation says that CCTV footage has captured the final seconds just before former Cyrus Jirongo died in that head-on collision along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway, placing the impact at 25 seconds past 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, in a statement, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations now confirm that the crash involved a public service bus whose driver has been questioned and released on a cash bail as homicide detectives and forensic experts piece together a detailed trail of his movements that include where he had been earlier that night ahead of forwarding a file to the Director of Public Prosecutions. Ben Chumba reports.
The Directorate of Criminal Investigations has confirmed it is probing the circumstances surrounding the death of Cyrus Jirongo, who succumbed to injuries sustained in a road traffic accident on the night of December 13th at Karai along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway. Preliminary findings indicate the crash involved Jirongo's private vehicle and a public service bus belonging to Climax Company Limited, in what investigators describe as a head-on collision shortly after 2 o'clock in the morning. According to detectives, the impact was severe, pushing Jirongo's vehicle nearly 25 meters from the point of collision, while the bus came to a stop about 50 meters away. Police say CCTV footage recovered from a nearby petrol station has provided a timeline of Jirongo's final movements before the crash, footage that is now undergoing further forensic analysis. The driver of the public service vehicle has been questioned and released on cash bail as investigations into the offense of causing death by dangerous driving continue. Detectives have also recorded statements from witnesses, including petrol station staff and passengers who were aboard the bus. Homicide detectives and forensic experts are now expanding the probe, piecing together a detailed trail of his movements, including where he had been earlier that night, statements from individuals he interacted with before the crash to establish events leading up to the crash. Once complete, police say a comprehensive file will be forwarded to the Director of Public Prosecutions for further action. Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
Meanwhile, a section of leaders allied to the united opposition is calling for a thorough investigation into the former cabinet minister Cyrus Jirongo's death. Speaking during a condolence visit to the Jirongo family here in Nairobi, the leaders led by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and DAP Kenya leader Eugene Wamalwa said that the information currently available to the public is insufficient, calling on those who were with Jirongo during his final moments to come forward and share their side of the story.
So Kenyans are asking, who are the last people to be seen with the Cyrus Jirongo? Why are they quiet? Mostly they were his kinsmen. People he trusted, people he knew. Why are they quiet?
Wakenya wanataka kujua ukweli. Je, hii ilikuwa ni ajali ya kawaida ama ni ajali ambayo imebuniwa na watu fulani?
What is even more shocking, it's emerging that there are various versions of how he met his death. And even as we say pole to Jirongo's family, this is a matter of serious concern to the family, to the community, to his friends and relatives, and to the country as a whole.
Let's now look at an item here on security. The Kenya Police Service is on high alert to ensure the security of Kenyans during and also after the festive season is guaranteed. According to Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, the government will employ relevant measures including the deployment of more officers and introduction of instant fine system via your mobile court to traffic offenders. Why? To reduce the increasing cases of road accidents. The police boss spoke in Nyeri, where he opened a 9-month training program for the National Police Service recruits at the National Police College main campus.
The National Police College main campus in Kiganjo, Nyeri County on Tuesday played host to the police boss who officially opened the 9-month training program for the National Police Service recruits. The IG announcing the recalling of officers who are on leave to ensure security of Kenyans during the festivities is not left to chance.
Police officers have also been deployed together with other agencies. We are working together with others. This will continue to act as a deterrent because at the end of the day, when the festive season is gone, we want to ensure that our people are safe and secure.
In addition to the personnel, Kanja disclosed the National Police Service is in the process of acquiring more modern equipment, including an additional 3,000 motor vehicles to boost mobility. On curbing the rising number of road accidents in the country, the police boss vowed to impose a crackdown on rogue drivers.
We don't want to lose Kenyans, especially on our roads. And at this juncture, I would like to advise our drivers, all those who are driving along, on our roads, to drive carefully so that they can be able to take care of the others, they can be able to take care of the pedestrians, those riding motorcycles and the pedocyclists.
Among the measures to be taken against the traffic offenders will be imposing instant fines, which shall be administered through a multi-agency team that will include the judiciary and the National Transport and Safety Authority.
This time around, we're also going to have the instant fine system. We are going to have courts actually distributed in several areas along the major arteries of roads in the Republic of Kenya, so that we can actually be able to deal with all those, who are going against the regulations, traffic regulations.
John Kahiro for Prime Edition.
Colleagues, family and friends gathered at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation for the Requiem Mass of the late broadcaster Festus Amimo, who passed on last week, Sunday. Speakers paid glowing tributes, honoring him not only as a passionate broadcaster, but also as a dependable friend and colleague.
The Kenya Broadcasting Corporation family gathered in prayer and worship for a Requiem Mass to pay their last respects for the late Festus Amimo. Those who worked closely with him at the Mayenga radio station remembered his unwavering dedication to public service, broadcasting, and his commitment to duty.
He was such a good boss who understood his colleagues and knows how to interact well and well.
Amimo has been a friend, an inspiration, and a mentor. And even though he's gone, his legacy lives on.
During the service, Father Charles Maloba delivered a sermon of healing and hope, encouraging the bereaved family and colleagues to draw strength from their faith and to find comfort in the memories he leaves behind.
We thank God for his life, his work, contributed to the human society in a way that God enabled him. A journalist informing people.
Speaker after speaker shared heartfelt tributes, recounting personal experiences that portrayed Festus not just as a professional broadcaster, but also a close friend.
He's a person I've talked to every day, including that day when we were sharing on how we were going to execute the Pinyiluo program that is going on even today.
Amimo was my friend. We used to have tea with him here almost every day. He used to come to my office almost every day.
This is sad for the family and for the friends. I want to encourage you that you are not alone. There is someone that you are with, that God will take care of you.
The KBC Managing Director Agnes Kaleche described Festus as a dependable and committed staff member who consistently went beyond the call of duty, noting that his contribution to the growth of radio broadcasting at the national broadcaster will be deeply missed.
He's the first staff who brought one of the biggest, politicians we have in this country, which shows what the immense contribution he had to this corporation.
You have lost your spouse. You have lost your dad, but we have lost an officer. We have lost a voice.
Family members remembered him as a loving husband and a devoted family man.
Festus was a friend, and we used to discuss everything. So I thank you so much for standing with us, for showing us love, the encouragement, the prayers. We don't take it for granted.
We didn't have major quarrels. We talked as man to man. He treated me as his equal, not just his son.
A seasoned radio broadcaster, Festus Amimo served at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation for over 20 years, during which he became a familiar and trusted voice to listeners across the country. Festus Amimo will be laid to rest this Friday, 19th December, at his home in Awase, Kisumu County. Maria Mbo reporting for the Prime Edition.
May his soul rest in peace. Of course, here at the Broadcasting House, we also had colleagues who lit candles to honor our departed colleague. That collective glow really from the colleagues today, showing how brightly Amimo's spirit continues to shine in the hearts of all those who knew him. We did listen in to some of the tributes that were paid earlier there, glowing tributes. You heard what his own son said, that he was a first amongst equals in the house. And so speakers after speakers today here at the Broadcasting House paying glowing tributes, really honoring the late Amimo, not only as somebody who loved his work, a very, very passionate broadcaster, but also a friend to many, me included. And therefore, we can only say, go well, my brother, till we meet again.
Uliniwacha mi bila fahamu kuwa ni yako zamu, angalau ungeniambia eti unakam, nitulize hamu wangu wa dhati. Hey, tama zangu zimenikwamia mikononi, labda huu ni mwisho wa dunia. Safiri salama, msalimu Maulana, tutaonana baadaye. Safiri salama, msalimu Maulana, tutaonana baadaye.
Amimo will be buried on the 19th of December, this Friday in Awase, where he hails from. That story brings us to our first break here on Prime Edition. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
didn't you tell me? Why did you do it without asking me first?
Because we were having problems at the time. Besides, you were still quite hurt because of Federico's death.
But right now I'm taking care of the design and promotion of the factory.
You need psychiatric help. That is what you want, don't you? You want them to send me to a loony bin to get rid of me.
You're the only woman with whom I would like to live with.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, our socials at KBC Channel 1. Calls for countries in Africa to strengthen electoral integrity and civic participation resonated during the National Symposium on Human Rights and the Ballot in Africa held in Nairobi. Stakeholders in the forum underscored the need for countries in Africa, especially those gearing up for upcoming elections, to deal with shrinking civic space, digital repression, weak institutions, as well as post-election instability. The stakeholders further called on those in power to exercise caution by not using government machineries to destabilize the electoral process. The forum that brought together countries in Africa together was held under the theme of securing human rights before the ballot.
We have tried to do a little panel beating, but it will appear that even in their panel beaten condition, they are not functioning as well. And if you ever doubted me, see how we conducted ourselves in the year 2007, how we conducted ourselves in the year 2013, 2017, and even after 2022 in Kenya. After every election cycle, we go to the Supreme Court, we go to the streets, and we end up with one form of government or the other. If it is not the handshake, it is broad-based government. It tells you we are struggling. And we are struggling because, particularly in Kenya, the political class are obsessed with mobilization on the basis of tribe. So it is not issues.
You swear an individual oath as IG police, as commissioners of the IEBC. We expect you to do what is right in accordance to the Constitution and in accordance to your oath. Article 1, 2, as read with Article 3, obligate these officers to individually defend and affirm the Constitution. So you are not going to give us the excuse that I was instructed to do ABCD contrary to the Constitution. You must stand firm, you must do what your oath of office, what the law requires you to do. That is what we expect from the IG and the election managers.
Elections is not an event, it's a process. And how all stakeholders engage in the process is important to the final outcome of the election. For example, you're looking at things like how is the human rights situation before elections, during elections and after elections. Learning from Tanzania, from what's going on in Uganda, the bloody campaigns. How is Kenya prepared to ensure that those things do not happen? Because look here, this region has been celebrated as one of those that has a blueprint of, democratic elections, peaceful campaigns. But now, what's happening in Tanzania, we're sliding back.
Kenya, we have better laws to deal with perpetrators of election violence. However, they are not implemented and they are not followed. And this also, it's a test to judiciary on now they have been able to even to deal with the current issue that we have seen with the by-elections, even in Kasipul and other area.
Former National Assembly Budget and Appropriations Committee Chairman Didi Nyoro is querying the sustainability of Kenya's rising public debt, stating that the country has borrowed nearly 4 trillion shillings in net new debt since August 2022. Nyoro further poked holes in the government's plan to launch a 5 trillion shilling fund, calling for accountability of previously borrowed funds. According to Nyoro, Kenya's public debt is already approaching 13 trillion. And creating new financing structures outside of the traditional debt framework could place an additional burden on future generations.
Kubadilisha mwenendo. Hatuendi vizuri kwa mambo ya madeni. Kwa sababu jana tuna launch project ya 5 trillion. Pesa tumekopa from 2022 August, pesa nchi ya Kenya imekopa from 2022 August to now is almost 4 trillion Kenya shillings. Na hiyo sijahesabu ile pesa tumekopa ya kulipa madeni ya kitambo. That is what is called only net debt. Vile unakopa pesa sako ulipe ya Shylock, sijahesabu hiyo.
Now, the push for integration of refugees to join the host country's workforce and contribute to its economy reverberated during an event to commemorate International Migrants' Day held here in Nairobi, Kenya. Government officials, development partners, and the International Organization for Migration called for cooperation as a community of nations to promote the migrants' rights and their inclusion in socio-economic activities. Secretary Administration, State Department for Immigration and Citizen Service, Cesar Chelulei, called for a sustainable approach to the migrant crisis. Similar sentiments were echoed by Deputy Director for Operations at IOM, Nihan Idogan, who said partnerships will strengthen migration governance, protect migrants' rights, and enhance development. International Migrants' Day is marked every year on the 18th of December.
Government should recognize prior skills for refugees, especially in the camps and even in the urban setup. This will enable their greater participation and even greater employment for refugees so that they can be employed and they can also contribute to the local economy.
Kenya being our first ever member state in Africa to join IOM back in 1985. And this year in 2025, we are celebrating 40 years of partnership and collaboration between IOM and the government of Kenya. So we are working very closely to create employment opportunities for Kenyans at home and abroad.
We're working together in order to make sure that there are opportunities, fair opportunities for everyone. Our appeal is to continue working together as we have been doing. As my colleague said, this is the first African nation to join IOM, the UN Migration Agency. We hope that Kenya will continue championing migration issues.
Migrants both adapt to host societies and send back ideas, practices, and values that transform their places of origin. Let us unite as a community of nations in promoting migrants' rights and inclusion in the socio-economic sector.
Following the win, the three-judge bench of the
family of businessman Bamburi Bharat Shah, who was reportedly killed by masked police officers at his Westlands home in 2017, is now seeking over 700 million shillings as compensation and damages. Through senior counsel Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, High Court Judge Chacha Mwita was informed that the deceased's life was cut short, denying him the right to life as enshrined in the Constitution. On the 12th of September this year, the Court of Appeal declared that the killing of the former Bob Mill Group director Bamburi Bharat Shah by unmasked police officers was unlawful. Justice Chacha Mwita has set the 20th of March of next year as the judgment day.
Following the win, the three-judge bench of the Court of Appeal comprising Justice Daniel Musenga, Mombi Ngugi and George Udunga ruled that the actions of the Attorney General, the IG and the CS Interior breach the Constitution, which guarantees the right to life and parental care for children.
We are claiming a salary total of 273, 600,000 and a bonus of 19 million, my lord.
Senior counsel Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi on Tuesday sought damages and compensation at the High Court as directed by the Appellate Court.
We want compensation. I mean, we are not seeking a validation of a right to freedom of association, my lord, or to assemble, or to oppose the government of the day, my lord. It's not a public law. We are pursuing, my lord, a very private right.
Justice Chacha Mwita had that the businessman, who was then 32 years and left a 5-month-old baby, was denied fatherly care and protection, and it will act as a reminder to the state to stop and reduce innocent civilians' killings.
People are being killed, whether it was the last government, whether it is the one before, whether it is the one before, whether it's the current one, my lord. Kenyans are being killed, and the danger of if I may put a little bit reckless exuberance.
However, the state termed the figure as non-proven and speculative, urging the court to be guided by principle of damages when awarding the compensation.
Special damages, in as much as they are specifically pleaded, must be strictly proven.
The court was also urged to strike a balance according to the Constitution and international standards and protect taxpayers' money when arriving at a figure.
So we'll try and see whether we can deliver the judgment on 20th of March. If we don't understand, we will.
Elsewhere, the High Court Judge Martin Mboya has warned parties in a 4-year-long disappearance case of a security expert Mwendo Mbijiwe against further delays. This comes after IG Douglas Kanja and DCI Mohamed Amin failed to appear in court. Mbijiwe's mother sought arrest warrants over alleged contempt, while State Counsel Paul Nyamodi noted issues with the service of summons.
The court had made the directions for the second and the third respondent to attend without having had an opportunity to hear the status of the...
However, the family's lawyer emphasized that the key issue was the existence of missing persons reports and not who filed them.
Even if it's the son who reported, the grandmother, the common denominator in this matter is it was reported, and there's an OB number to that fact.
The court directed all necessary documents to be submitted and set the next hearing for January 23rd, 2026.
Let's not play games. Kindly.
Well noted and most obliged.
Thank you.
Most obliged.
And the Republic versus Rafas Kiara Landford case continued at Rumuruchi Law Courts, with DCI expert Francis Munye presenting messages allegedly showing Kihara admitted to altering Christine Gachege's land title. Kihara faces forgery and abuse of office charges. The case resumes on 11th February 2026. Letua Debra for Prime Edition.
On to the counties now. Public Service, Human Capital Development and Special Programs Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku has taken a swipe at a section of opposition leaders accusing them of promoting divisive politics. CS Ruku warned that Kenya cannot be governed along tribal lines, saying that leaders who thrive on polarization risk tearing apart the country's social fabric.
Speaking in Mpeketoni, Lamu County during a special programs outreach, CS Ruku urged Kenyans to reject politics of exclusion and instead embrace unity, inclusivity and peaceful coexistence among all communities.
Mtu asitoke uko mbali uko wa Monyoro akuje hapa kuweka chuki ati mchukiwe wabunge wale wana support serikali, mchukiwe senator yule ana support serikali, mchukie MCA yule ambaye ana support serikali. Lazima tujenge Kenya. Kenya ni taifa moja jameni. Kenya haitaki chuki. Wakenya wanataka maendeleo.
Elsewhere, a family in Ngorongoroi area of Elgeyo Marakwet County is mourning the death of a middle-aged mother who was killed after several trees fell on her house following heavy storm in the area. The storm also left 2 other people seriously injured.
Nilikuwa nimeenda kufanya kazi mahali pengine ya kucha ni kufika nyumbani. So kwa hata nikasikia tu kwa njiani kuna bibi yangu imefurukwa na mawingu na mvua.
Community health promoters in Turkana County have received a major boost after they received 150 bicycles donated by Buffalo Bicycle to enhance their mobility and improve response times in healthcare delivery.
As community health workers, you can use it for other things. You can use it to access markets, to pick up inputs for your farms. You can carry a whole sack behind there because it carries 100 kilos. So not only will you be able to do your work as a community health worker well, but you'll also help to enrich your life.
The success of Kenya universal health coverage monitoring every on strong and well-supported community health strategy network. And you are that network.
And in Maragua, Murang'a County, parents of candidates who sat for the grade 9 KGCR national examination in private schools and posted strong results are now urging the Ministry of Education to ensure fair placement into competitive senior schools.
This new curriculum, what we are praying and we are asking as parents is that you consider our learners, they have performed very well. Let us have fairness in the placement of those schools.
Finally, the fight against the abuse of domestic workers has received a major boost following renewed calls for stronger protection of their rights. Youth Alive Kenya, in partnership with key stakeholders, has highlighted the challenges faced not only by domestic workers, but also by their employers, prompting fresh demands for government intervention.
The things we go through is especially when you are working at home and there is CCTV which are monitoring you throughout 24/7. This makes us feel like we are prisoners. One, hufai kuchapa mtu yoyote kwa sababu hiyo ni kuinfringe on their rights. Number two, hii mambo ya kutukana mtu ama kumuona ati ako haya ama ako chini yako ni vibaya sana.
So the projects look into care with two lenses, that is paid care work and unpaid care work, and it goes down to emphasizing on the recognition of issues around care.
Now take a look at the day's business, and we begin off with this story on Bamburi Cement. The company will construct a new 1.6 million ton per year clinker manufacturing plant in Matuga, Kwale County next year, after signing a construction contract with Sinoma CBMI Construction Company. President Ruto, who witnessed the signing of the 32 billion shillings project, says that the investment is a major boost to expanding manufacturing to create jobs and reduce reliance on importation of construction materials. Trevor Ngendo reports.
Kenya has been relying on imported clinker to meet domestic cement production demand. Data indicates that clinker imports fell sharply to just 10,340 tons in 2024, down from 148,000 tons the previous year, following measures to encourage local production. The new Matuga clinker manufacturing plant is expected to drive this number even lower.
It is not possible for us to continue importing cement. We cannot import what we can produce in Kenya, whether it is cement, whether it is maize, whether it is wheat, and everything else.
This is a $250 million foreign direct investment. This project will also reduce the reliance of imported clinker and will make Kenya self-sufficient. With your support and vision, a clinker exporter in the near future.
I want to assure the industry that we shall continue to support you. And Kenya wants to get its rightful position in the broader conversation around import substitution and creation of wealth and employment in the country.
President Ruto says the cement industry is central to the country's industrialization agenda, as it is the foundational catalyst for national development.
The demand for cement, steel, fittings and other building materials generated by this program is revitalizing local industries, strengthening domestic supply chains, and keeping value and jobs within our economy.
He highlighted ongoing infrastructure projects such as the expansion of road networks, the modernization of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and extension of the Standard Gauge Railway as key drivers of rising demand for construction materials.
My intention is that for the next 20 years, Kenya is going to be one big construction site.
The Matuga plant is planned to break ground in early 2026, with clinker production starting in the early 2028. Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition.
The National Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi says that Kenyans will begin to feel the impact of sustained and broad-based growth once the economy expands by more than 7% every year. Speaking during the launch of the Kenya Economic Report 2025 and the Kenya Fiscal Incident Analysis, Mbadi said that accelerating the growth in key sectors, particularly manufacturing and construction, would enable the country to create jobs and increase incomes for citizens.
The manufacturing and construction sectors contributed about 1.15 trillion shillings to the gross domestic product in 2024. Over the next 3 years, the construction sector is projected to push Kenya's GDP growth to over 5%. However, the National Treasury now says these numbers need to be higher if Kenyans are to feel the effects of economic growth.
We need an economic growth of not less than 7%. 7% and above, that is the target. That is when now people will feel that we have an economy that is growing. Otherwise, you will still continue to hear of where is the money. We don't feel the money in our pocket.
Mbadi says the development of county aggregation and industrial parks are among investments that will catalyze economic growth.
To revitalize manufacturing, the government will accelerate development of county aggregated and industrial parks, promote MSMEs, and provide investment incentives and critical services, including infrastructure.
Mbadi says another disconnect to Kenya's economic growth is the teething disparities between counties and the national government.
We have been operating like we are running 48 countries. Yet we know very well we have one country with devolved units. So there has been limited integration between the plans at the county level and the plans at the national level, and we are trying to cure that.
The Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis Kenya Economic Report indicates that job creation is on the rise, with the agricultural sector being the main employer. However, the report also shows the need for matching skills with decent job opportunities.
As highlighted in the report and operated by the ED of KIPRA and ED KNPS, job creation has largely occurred in the informal sector, underscoring the need for deliberate policy interventions to improve job quality, productivity, and income security.
Alanauko, Prime Edition.
Now, stricter oversight of donor-funded agricultural projects is key to ensuring value for money and protecting public debt sustainability. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says such projects should deliver measurable impact for farmers and align with national priorities or risk becoming a burden on taxpayers.
Thinking how it engages donor-funded agriculture projects amid growing concern that poorly structured agreements and weak procurement controls have undermined value for money and limited impact for farmers. Speaking in Kilifi, during a joint National Project Steering Committee meeting for World Bank-financed agriculture programs, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says many donor facilities are treated as grants, yet in reality, they are loans that must be repaid.
When you say donor in the English language, it sounds like free money. But it is not free money. You know, the word that we should be using is actually loans. These loans that we are getting must be loans for which we have determined what to use on. It is we who need to understand.
Kagwe warns that even well-intentioned projects can lose impact if procurement choices are poorly aligned or negotiated without sufficient technical input from implementing ministries.
It is important for us to be on the same page and agree that these are the things that we want to do.
He is urging the National Treasury to involve ministries more closely when negotiating external financing, saying agreements reached without technical oversight risk waste, duplication, and weak outcomes.
Sometimes the officers within the ministries, our ministries, are the ones who have sent these documents to the Treasury, and they have not aligned them with the policies and the priorities that we have got as a government.
Ndutamokami for Prime Edition.
Safaricom has formally listed its 20 billion shillings green bond at the Nairobi Securities Exchange that underscored growing demand for sustainable financing. Speaking during the bell-ringing ceremony, Safaricom Group Chief Finance Officer Dilip Pal said the listing reflected close collaboration with regulators, investors, and market partners. He described the bond as part of a broader shift in how Safaricom funds its business, positioning capital markets as a sustainable source in long-term financial alongside traditional funding options.
For our first issuance under this program, what mattered most, as always, is the purpose. We deliberately choose, as I mentioned, with a green bond because it speaks directly to who we are as Safaricom and the future we are helping to build. The proceeds for this first issuance will support investment that power our network responsibly. In short, we are channeling capital into growth that is both digital and sustainable.
Global fintech firm Montran has officially launched its African operations that will be headquartered in Nairobi. Speaking during the launch, Montran CEO Alexandra Eska said the new office will enable closer collaboration with clients, faster service delivery, and the development of tailored solutions for Africa's diverse markets. Eska said that the Nairobi office will anchor investment, innovation, and collaborations to deliver the next generation of financial infrastructure to support sustainable growth.
We need to be able to understand the needs, right? Every market is different. And this is why it's so important to have local presence, to have people from Africa who understand those needs and can have those conversations even better with our customers.
The fact that we already work with regulators in this market in a good partnership gives us a very strong place and base where we can extend that capability to commercial banks and non-financial institutions.
But we never had presence on site, local presence in Africa. This is the first time we're establishing a presence in Africa.
Why didn't you tell me? Why did you do it without asking me first?
Because we were having problems at the time. Besides, we were still quite hurt because of Federico's death. But right now I'm taking care of the design and promotion of the factory.
Lea Premium Flour, nurturing the world. Available in a store near you.
Karis, ni aje man? Mwanze niokole punch hapo, mwanze nifanye deal fulani hapa na kurudisha in 2 hours.
Haina noma bro, nipatia 1 hour, nimalize ma 1-2 na kutumia.
1 hour? Game inaanza saa hii 15 minutes bana. 1 hour ni too long. Niokole manze.
Brother, hadi game inakucheza sasa. Hadi unakopa float. Kwani kuwekelea ni lazima?
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Association of Gaming Operators Kenya kwa ushirikiano na Gambling Regulatory Authority. Ni kwa walio zaidi ya miaka 18.
A very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Rohoma and welcome to Prime Edition Sports. Kenya's men's and women's rollball national teams opened their 7th rollball World Cup campaign with impressive wins in their respective opening matches in Dubai. The Kenya men's team began their title defense with a resounding 18-0 victory over Poland in the tournament opener, while the women followed suit with a commanding 16-0 win over Argentina. The men's debutant Chris Ogeto, who delivered an outstanding performance in his first appearance at the World Cup, credited the emphatic win to thorough preparation and strong team cohesion. KCB FC moved to the top of the FKF Men's Premier League. After defeating APS Bomet 4-2 at the Kasarani Stadium, Philip Wasai scored twice to hand APS a 2.5 half-time lead. KCB bounced back in the second half as Kelvin Etemesi grabbed a hat-trick, with Richard Omondi adding one to hand the Robert Matano-led Chargers the vital victory. Following the win, KCB leapfrogged defending champions Kenya Police at the top of the standings on goal difference. KCB has now collected a total of 21 points from 13 games, while Kenya Police are second. Meanwhile, Posta Rangers shared the spoils with Bandari FC after playing to a barren draw at Kasarani Annex, Nairobi. The draw moves Rangers to the 4th position with 21 points, while Bandari remains 11th on 14 points. League action continues tomorrow with 4 matches on the cards. Mboya will face Kakamega Homeboys at Kasarani, while Mathare United will face off with Sofapaka at Police Sacco Stadium. Nairobi United will play Tusker in Murang'a, while Shabana FC will be at home to Mara Sugar at the Gusii Stadium. And coaches at the Kenya Academy of Sports camps all over the country are facing a selection dilemma due to the immense talent on show at the camps that are on their 5th day. Only 400 athletes from over 3,500 are to be selected after the 10-day camp to join the Nairobi Elite Camp in April next year.
It's been 5 days of training only, and the high-profile coaches at the Kenya Academy of Sports National Talents Development Camps are facing a selection challenge due to the high-quality talents on show.
The main objective is to create a platform where athletes can easily transition from developmental stages to professional athlete, because that has been always a huge gap in Kenya.
The camps, set up in 7 regions in the country, have more than 3,500 athletes undergoing training in football, basketball, volleyball, among other disciplines, with the best to be selected to join the elite camp in Nairobi next year.
Immediately I came on the second day, I was able to see the pathway for these kids into the different national teams that we have. And yeah, you can see by bringing them together here, it's good exposure because it now brings the children into the light of coaches who are not able to travel.
There are also players with special needs in the camp, taking part in deaf basketball and sitting volleyball, among other sports.
Yes, previously, when I was young, I started enjoying basketball. And from what I get here, it is really very nice, and I'm really learning a lot from our coaches.
The athletes were scouted during the primary and secondary school games and have joined the camps in Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Kakamega, Eldoret, Wajir, and Nyeri.
The successful hosting of the 2025 World Taekwondo Under-21 Championships by the Kenya Taekwondo Federation, which was held from the 3rd to the 6th of this month at the Kasarani Gymnasium in Nairobi. During the 4-day event, Abul Fazi Zandi and Milana Bekulova were named the most valuable players of the tournament.
Following the successful hosting of the World Taekwondo Under-21 Championship, World Taekwondo has ranked Kenya among the best host nations of international taekwondo competitions. In a statement, World Taekwondo, the global governing body, said the high standard of organization, smooth operations, and welcoming atmosphere throughout the 4-day championship reflected the professionalism, dedication, and commitment of the Kenya Taekwondo Federation to develop the sport. The historic first edition provided an excellent platform for young athletes from around the world to demonstrate their talent while transitioning towards the senior and Olympic levels. Meanwhile, the Coast Taekwondo Association held a seminar for all the referees and coaches in the region. During the 2nd edition of the Mombasa West Taekwondo Championship, a team of 6 referees and coaches will be traveling each year to Korea for more training from next year in an effort to develop the game even more in the country. A total of 12 teams, including Kwale, Kilifi, Taita, and Mombasa, competed in the Mombasa West tournament, with more teams expected to compete in the 3rd edition next year.
Sisi hatupati misaada ambapo kuna talents. Hata juzi tulikuwa na mashindano ya under 21, lakini performance ya Kenya ilikuwa mbaya kwa sababu hatupati finances. So ningeomba serikali, hata hii michezo wanasema ni midogo, washughulike na kuisponsor. Ni ngumu sana kuona matimu kadhaa zingine kutoka Kwale, Kilifi,
Mombasa kuungana pamoja kuja kwa sababu ya mchezo. So nadhani hii ni hatua tumeweka tayari. Na tunajua kuwa kesho ama mwaka ujao tutaweka hatua moja mbili, at least timu tuwe na watu waongezeke na at least tuwe tunainusha kipaji cha taekwondo katika nchi yetu ya Kenya.
Ningependa kwamba sote kwa ujumla kwanza tuitane, tuweke kiburi kando, tuweke dharau kando, tuweke tofauti zetu kando. Tukuje katika do ambayo ndio kizazi cha taekwondo. Tukuje katika ile do, napoongea tuongee na sauti moja, si hawa wameandaa game huku wengine wameandaa game kule, itakuwa sio sawa.
Wazazi waweze kushirikiana na sisi ambao tuna organize such tournament ili tuweze kuweka natija ya build skills za vijana wetu na pia kuweka discipline wakati wa holiday. Kama unavyojua kuwa tumekuwa na holiday ndefu hizi za Disemba, na holiday zenyewe zinahitaji vijana waweze kujumuika, waweze kufanya vitu ambavyo vitaweza kuwa keep off from drugs na pia other activities ambazo zinaweza kuweka life yao at risk.
Team Maritini emerged winners of the tournament, beating Patana and Frere, who settled for the silver and bronze medals respectively.
And the World Football Governing Body FIFA has reinstated its development funding to Kenya in a later date, dated the 16th of December and sent to the Football Kenya Federation by the FIFA Governance, Audit and Compliance Committee, the GACC. The funding will resume with immediate effect. However, FIFA is expected to monitor the use of the funds for at least a year or until the next FIFA Governance Committee meeting in March 2026. Football Kenya Federation President Hussein Mohamed welcomed the decision, describing it as a significant milestone that will enable the federation to effectively carry out its ongoing programs aimed at grassroots development, infrastructure and capacity building. FIFA was forced to freeze the development funds to Kenya after the government dissolved the Football Kenya Federation in November 2021 and appointed a caretaker committee. Kenya was subsequently banned in February 2022, but the suspension was lifted 9 months later after the caretaker committee stepped aside. And home player William Redek edged out 2025 Kenya Amateur Golf Championship Series winner John Legirma in a dramatic 3-hole aggregate sudden death playoff to claim the Nyali NCBA Open. Both players had tied for 4 over par 217 after 3 rounds, forcing a playoff that was only decided on the third extra sudden death trip down the 18th. Nakuru's John Kamais was placed third, while was placed third. Njoro Country Club's Masini and Chama had a decent outing as well, playing rounds of 73, 75 and 73 for a total of 8 over par 221 to finish 4th, while Felix Dusabe and Michael Karanga tied for 5th, having played a stroke more. The 2026 NCBA Golf Series is expected to feature a total of 33 events, following the addition of 2 more legs, the Machakos Open and the Ulinzi Open.
I started well. I started with the par, saved one, birdie. Then I knew it was my day because it was a long putt for it. Till number 8.
2 players on deck and Samburu one going for it, the final finish. It's been wonderful. We kicked off the activities to be the title sponsor of KGC, which is a KGU-sponsored amateur events, and it's been wonderful watching the competitive spirit. I believe today we've watched a lot of sportsmanship, and that competitive spirit is what NCBA is all about.
And the continent's best footballers are preparing to descend on Morocco for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, the AFCON, as the finals are held over Christmas and New Year for the first time. The tournament kicks off on Sunday, the 21st of December, when the hosts take on the Comoros at Rabat's Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium.
The pressure is on the Atlas Lions, who are Africa's highest-ranked nation at 11th in the world, but have not won AFCON since 1976. Morocco will begin their quest against Comoros, a side that's making their third appearance in the competition. Morocco coach Walid Regragui named a powerful 28-man squad featuring the country's biggest stars, led by Ashraf Hakimi, Yassine Bono, Sofiane Amrabat, and striker Youssef El Nesri. Despite suffering a serious ankle injury recently, Hakimi has been included in the squad but is likely to miss the opening matches. Hosting the tournament has heightened expectations, and only one outcome will satisfy the public: lifting the trophy in Rabat on January 18th. After the Comoros opener, Morocco will face Zambia and Mali in Group A. Morocco leads a line of nations carrying a favourite stag into the competition, alongside Democratic Republic of Congo, holders Ivory Coast, former champions Senegal, Algeria and Egypt. East African countries of Tanzania and Uganda, pooled together in Group C, face a daunting task of getting past four-time winners Nigeria and 2004 champions Tunisia. Uganda reached the finals in 1978, while Tanzania has never gone past the group phase in its past 3 appearances. Tanzania will open their campaign against Nigeria on December 31st, while Uganda will face Tunisia. 9 stadiums will be used in 6 host cities, with 4 venues in the capital, Rabat. Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium in Rabat, with a capacity of 69,000, set to host the opening match, as well as the final on 18th January. The matches will also be hosted in Agadir, Marrakesh, Casablanca and Tangier.
And that's the sport for tonight. My name is Daniel Ohome. Thank you for being with us. Back to Tom.
Many thanks indeed, Wahome, for that update. Well, that's all we had time for on Prime Edition from all of us here. I want to thank you so much. A special thanks goes out to Lucy Mwaura for that good job that she has done, and of course the entire Prime Edition production team in the back end. Thank you, and good night. I'm Tom Mboya. God bless you. Bye-bye.
For charity, dial star 419 hash.
Nakuona. Kuja hivi sasa. What is wrong? What is wrong? Buddha! Siku umedial star 419 hash. Chika. Yani hujui kwa option 3 kuna Probox? Probox. Usisahau kwa star 419 hash option 3 iko Probox ya bahati, na ikikuangukia ufunguo utakufikia mahali popote ulipo. Usisahau.
Time is ticking, and this beautiful Pro Box deserves a home. Je, umeshiriki? Dial *419# option 4 uingie kwenye draw ya kujishindia Himo Tea. And on the 3rd of January, tunatangaza mshindi wetu. And you know what? Inaweza kuwa wewe.
Nice, na festive season inabamba na niko na watatu hapa. Hapa iko 15,000 Kenya shillings, iko 20,000 Kenya shillings, iko 40,000 Kenya shillings, na iko ya wapenda nao 120,000 Kenya shillings. Sema kweli bwana, fungulia watu Christmas waanze kuona. Mapenzi lazima ipambwe leo. Iko 120,000 Kenya shillings hapa. Nataka mshikane, mjue ni sanduku gani mnataka kungoa out of these 12 boxes. Sikiza nini? Hongeeni. Wacha masikio ipatane na mdomo. The mystery box. Sawa. Unataka kutoa? 7. Namba 7. Mulikuwa mnataka nini toke? Tende. Nani anatamani kufika hapa wa kwanza? Kimani. Kuja hapa. Kim. Shikilia hapa. Wacha kwanza ni charge butua kabla nikupatia, si ndio? Iko 15,000 hapa. Kwela ka 20,000 hapa. Iko 40,000. Na iko ka 20. My brother. Moja kati hizi pesa umezingoa. Hebu guess ni gani? Iko hapa ndani ya namba 7. Moja umetoa. 15. Nyinyi wenyewe mlikuwa mnatamani kutoa nini? Tende. Mimi nawaambia kama ni nguashe mumenoa. Mumetoa tende. Tende imetoka. Chukua sanduku moja kati ya hizo zote. Nguashe na mgoja, enda. Aisiyapa. 2,000 Kenya shillings. Nimulikie KFC na soda baridi iko wapi? Mulika. 5,000 Kenya shillings. Alikubali ama alikataa? Amekataa. Amekataa? Bibi amesema umekataa. Umekubali? Nimekataa. 5, 6, 7, 8. Alisema wewe ndio kichwa. Wacha nione mdomo inasema nini. 8,000 Kenya shillings achukue unajua wewe uko na chazi ya kwenda pale. Achukue hiyo kitu. Utaenda uchukue kitu. Mwambie achukue hiyo kitu. Juu siongeze. Sioni ukingona pande. Mungu ndo naenda misi. 8,000. Double number 4. Unakataa? One of these boxes, number 3 na number 5, iko na kitu mzuri. Hata nikiongeza 10,000 usichukue. 10,000 Kenya shillings. Na baada akichukua, bado Her Majesty anaweza akakuja hapa na pana tena bado nipatie 10,000. Familia itoke na 20. Hiyo hesabu hujapiga? Haiko sawa. Unakwama tu hapa. Ni kwama hiyo. Unaona aje? Hiyo 100, si mtafungua tu biashara pamoja ama ya mtafungua tu kivyako? Kivyangu. 10,000 Kenya shillings unakataa? Hata usiti. Hii si tunafanya hivi ndio niongeze? Chukua sanduku namba 3. There's something in box number 3. Yeah, number 4. Kwa sababu unafikiri kuna nini? 120. Mlika 120,000 Kenya shillings iko wapi? Mlika sura ya Kimani ambaye anacheza na mimi na najaribu sana kumsaidia. Kimani. Mliotoa tende. Mtakula viazi karai na KFC na soda baridi. Mara ya 3 nakuuliza. Unakwama na hiyo, unachukua this 10,000 Kenya shillings ama unageuza?
Nakwama nayo.
Pili nauliza tena. Is it sanduku namba 4? Is it the 8 ambao nimekuonjesha?
Namba 4.
Mara ya 3 nauliza, and this is final. Final. Is it sanduku namba 4? Is it this 10,000 Kenya shillings? Ama unaamua aje? Namba? Wekelea mkono hapo. Kimani, vuta sanduku namba 4. Kimani, umekuwa na sanduku namba 4. Namba 2 ni nani anatamani kufika hapa? Na anatamani kufika hapo wa pili. Hey. Iko joto.
Iko kabisa.
Toa jacket. Uko na jacket unasikia joto alafu ikuvute. Umevuta, umeyeka. Wacha nikusaidie basi. Bas. Chani seti hapa. Amechukua chenye ulikuwa unataka? Huko unataka namba 4. Haya, sawa sawa. Nakuambia hapa ndani baada ameacha 15, ameacha 20, ameacha 40 na hii hako mbali nayo na hata hakuwa anaitaka. Enda uchukue. Na ikiwa mbaya sana chukua mountain bike. $10,000 Kenya shillings. 11, 12, 13. $13,000. Akona 14,000. Nenda ununue your own mountain bike. Wachana na hizo sanduku. Wachana na sanduku namba 2. Jero. Na iko 14,000. Juu ya meza. Watakukemea. Hata ungechukua hiyo 40. Cha niongeze hasira zao. Ungechukua 15. Ni urongo. Jemo. Ni nini kwa sanduku namba 11 yenyewe? Ni nini kwa hapa yenye utaki?
Ngwashe. Ngwashe. Kwa hapa.
Toa hiyo pesa weke mahali unataka kuweka.
Inarudi.
Tutakosana. Uwezi niambia unataka mountain bike alafu nakuwekea 50,000, 60,000 Kenyan shillings na unakwama kwa sababu kuna baridi.
Bado.
Unasaidiwa aje?
Ndio hapa tu.
All of a sudden James sasa amekuwa mwimbaji
kabisa.
Na tutakumbukana na shilingi 16,000.
Hai.
16,000 umekataa. Kwa mara ya 3. Unachukua hii 8 yenye unaifikiria mara 2. Wacha nijaribu ning'ang'ane. Unachukua 2 ama unageuza, weka hiyo pesa mali unachukua. And this is 16,000. Nyamo?
Yes.
Mara ya 2. Is this sanduku namba 2? Is it the 16,000? 16,000. Mountain bike.
Mara ya 2 tu hapo.
Unacheza na imani yako.
Nasikia tu ndio mara ya 2 tu hapo mbili.
Na mara ya 3 na moja.
Mara ya 2.
Namba 2. Kilelia wembe mpatie mpaka shoka. Chukua. Vuta hiyo sanduku. Rudi kwa stand. Ulikuwa unafikiria wakati yako itafika? Koja hapa. Ladies last. Mimi bado nakupatia hii. Kuna haja kwenda pale?
Ikiwa sawa sitaenda.
Ikiwa sawa? Nikifika 20?
50.
50? Enda. 50. Na kupatia 120 bado nataka 50. 120 unataka 50. Alafu uona mali anaweka pesa. Kama unataka 120 toka tu hapa, jaribu ingie tu hapa. Please. Kama unataka tu 120. Ukika kwa 9 na kuhesabia. 3, 2, 1. Fika kwa 8 naongeza. Omba Mungu labda nitafika. Kama unakaa hapo hata kuna haja nikuhesabie basi. Uko sure? Unataka kufanya nini na hii?
Kuweka kazi.
Kuweka kazi? Kazi gani?
Hata kama ni ya kuuza manguo za watoto.
Toka tu hapo.